Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. We have got some big updates on the next stimulus package and social security changes like the rest. CONNELL has agreed to something that's going to have the massive impact on the both of these issues. Now, a lot of experts are saying that as CONNELL becomes more agreeable, we have a much bigger chance of getting increased social security benefits and stimulus checks for seniors. So let's discuss the details. Let's jump right into today's updates. So we are going to talk about the CONNELL, what he just agreed to that's going to have the massive impact on the next stimulus package. But first, let's do the quick update on the daily trending news. Now, one thing that making headlines is the fact that Donald Trump said he actually liked Barack Obama after all the years of checking him. So Donald Trump said that he liked old and inward smart and sharp Barack Obama after years in insolent feelings, said this report. So a lot of people were surprised by this. And Donald Trump was in front of the crowd, and as soon as Barack Obama's names were mentioned, he was getting booed like crazy. Obviously, Trump supporters, he generally don't like Barack Obama, but let me know in the comments what you guys think. In any case, Trump went on to say he liked Barack Obama. He is smart, he's sharp, but he also blamed him for creating a strong divide in Congress. So all of this divisiveness that we see a lot of people blame Trump for this, for creating kind of this strong visual, this divide between left and right, and Democrats and Republicans. But Trump actually blames this on Barack Obama, saying that he is the one that started this divide. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Now, also trending, the government deficit is actually doing well this year, and this is down 17 from a year ago. And so the deficit means how much money are we making as a government, and how much money are we spending. And now the deficit generally is not a good thing. That means that we are spending more than we are making. But this has been going on for about 20 years. But the good news right now is that the deficit is actually smaller than it was last year. And this making sense because last year the economy shut down. Now people are going back to work, meaning we have more people making money and more people paying taxes into the system. And the deficit is actually down 70% compared to a year ago. Now, the reason this is good news is the less of the deficit, we have the better chances. We have of getting more stimulus checks and getting social security benefits increased. Because the smaller the deficit is, the better of economic situation the government is in, meaning we are in better position is actually expand these benefits. If that kind of makes sense of generally, things are heading in the right direction as economic is booming. Generally, this means more revenue coming in, and that provides more money to spend on the programs like social security benefits and stimulus check for seniors. Now, at the same time, President Biden's approval ratings are tanking. We've talked about this a lot on this channel, that Democrats think one of the best things they can do to turn things around as far as polls is improve the stimulus checks for seniors. 1. Because they have seen that the stimulus checks work in regards to increasing the poor numbers, and 2. Because the seniors are one of the largest, they're actually the largest group when it's come to voting. Seniors vote more than any other age bracket in this country. So approving the stimulus check for the seniors not only makes sense because they need to help the most, but also makes the sense because it will help the Democrats the most in regard to fixing the poor and trying to maintain control more of the House and the Senate in 2022. A lot of experts are predicting a vote in vote direct wave, meaning Democrats would lose a ton of the seats in both the chamber, the House, and the Senate, which would leave President Biden as sitting duck for his last 2 years in office. And generally, when the president becomes the sitting duck, nothing gets done, no more stimulus, no social security benefits increases, and then a lot of times that president ends up losing when he goes to for re-election. A lot of experts think this stimulus check for seniors will happen because Democrats need this help to turn these polls around. For folks, let's jump into stimulus social security benefits. What's going on with the Mark Connell? Well, he just agreed that looks like a good sign when it comes to getting all of these things done well. First of all, we talk about the fact that Democrats are trying to do the stimulus package. Bernie Sanders is trying to include the stimulus check for the seniors, and all of this is happening at the same time. Democrats has been trying to raise the debt ceiling, so they don't default on this debt, basically like raising. They are creating a limit to pay things they already own, and that were previously approved, also trying to extend government funding to avoid the government shutdown. All of these things happening at once and entire time. Mitch McConnell has been said, we are not helping the Democrats with anything until they are promised to not do any more stimulus, to not increase the social security benefits. We are not doing any of this because Democrats need our help to get it done. Democrats can't do it without a single Republican vote, like they are doing the stimulus package as time has done go. Mitch McConnell has been agreeing more and more with the Democrats. So first of all, obviously he agreed to approve the fiscal stimulus plan, what he calling the BIF, the bipartisan infrastructure package. Now, he agreed to that, and that was something that took place a few weeks ago and has been fully approved. Then, he agreed to fund the government until the middle of February. That's another thing that got done. They are going to have to address this again in February, but that's twice he agreed to have the Democrats extend government funding to avoid the government shutdown. Now, he's agreed to help Democrats actually increase the debt ceiling by doing kind of weird work around the situation, where he approved a new law that allows Democrats temporarily to do it without a single Republican vote. Now, the point I'm trying to make here is that as time goes on, the Mitch McConnell continues to agree with more and more things that Democrats want to do now. He does do it in a certain way that makes sure that for the most part, Republicans are avoiding voting for it, right? Like for example the debt ceiling. Republicans aren't actually going to vote to raise the debt ceiling, but they are going to vote to create a new law with the temporarity with a law. Democrats to raise the debt ceiling on their own, so it's indirectly doing the same thing. Obviously, it's political Twitter that way next year. When the election comes up, Mitch McConnell can say, hey, we didn't vote for any of this, but obviously, they voted to let Democrats do it right. So the point I'm making here is that as time goes on, all of these issues, fiscal stimulus plan, Mitch McConnell voted with the Democrats to get it done. Raising the debt ceiling, Mitch McConnell has agreed to help Democrats to get done. Extending government funding, Mitch McConnell voted to get it done and got enough Republicans on board to get it fully approved. So, all of these things are pointing to the fact that maybe Mitch McConnell is becoming more irritable with the Democrats and is going to allow them to approve the next stimulus package. Which, first of all, Democrats don't really need any Republican voters for that stimulus package. But they need to get moderate Democrats like John McCain and Kristen Sinema on board, which of course they work with the Mitch McConnell as well. And then we have the fact that Mitch McConnell has said he doesn't want to raise Social Security benefits either, but the fact that he keeps coming more agreeable makes us think, hey, maybe Mitch McConnell will help Democrats raise Social Security benefits next year as well. Now, when it comes to raising the Social Security benefits, the process is a little more complicated than during the stimulus package. Although Democrats could try and include it in the next emails package next year, some experts say that because of something called the bird rule, which is the technicality, that they couldn't able to include it in the stimulus package, and they could have to do it with the Republicans required 16 votes to get it fully approved. Now, the jury is still out on the situation. Maybe we could get it done in the stimulus package, or maybe Mitch McConnell would help them vote over the temporary law to do it with only 50 votes, just like they did to debt ceiling rate this new tool. The Democrats could increase the Social Security benefits as well, just like they are going to do with increasing the debt ceiling. Kind of confusing. I hope that kind of makes sense. The bottom line here is Mitch McConnell is agreeing with so much things that Democrats want to do, and this is a really good sign moving forward, as Democrats are trying to increase the Social Security benefits and to approve the stimulus check for the seniors in this next stimulus package. So as Democrats continue to negotiate the next emails package, I'm not going to do something, but then ends up helping Democrats anyway. But fully disclosure here, this is MSNBC, which tends to be a little bit liberal and kind of goes hash on the Mitch McConnell. So if you vote Republican, this might be kind of upset you a little bit. But the point that the video makes is that Mitch McConnell continues to help Democrats get things done and is becoming more and more reachable when it comes to approving more stimulus either in the form of the fiscal stimulus. The next emails package increasing check is funding for the government and increasing the debt ceiling as well, which overall is a good sign moving forward when it comes to stimulus and it comes to increasing Social Security benefits. So if I would like to stick around, some policy news you may have missed with the political implication. Mitch McConnell just voted again in his down with the Democrats, which is kind of not talking point we heard a lot from DC pundits. Now, Biden's pushing toward another spending wing in his many months, and he's pushing that job bill. The big obstructionist opponent on a lot of this has been McConnell. He says he's a dream reaper and his obstruction tactics often discussed in DC. Mitch McConnell is super. He is just constantly started to taxations. It's always what he will be known. Republican explaining, I don't want to mess with him. For Fox News cheering on the tested and independent analytics of DC 12 saying this is what he does, and he has certainly had some wins and we've recovered them. But it's not very narrative lasts forever, and the Democrats has been increasingly mixing with the McConnell. In September, he was worrying a big fight over the debt. He said Republicans would certainly not help Democrats avoid default, and he said he was willing to counter the crisis. Start global financial meltdown if need be. Legislation have raises at the debt limit that will not get standard. Republicans help the rise in the debt limit. Fact check for Democrats got help from Republicans. You see here McConnell blink, and then many on Republican right was upset. Trump said McConnell folded and McConnell rushed. And then this is what is interesting about what's happening this week. He said, "I'm okay, I want to do it again," and told Biden that when it comes time and to avoid the next D4, he would do nothing to help Democrats. "I will not provide such as assistance again." Well, that's not true. The tactician doubled down on something, and then again blinked caving in this standoff over the relatively different issue of funding the government through the debt ceiling. Mark CONNELL and 30 other Republicans are going to rise, supporting what Biden wanted without getting any concession in return, which is no more course. By the way, you are not supposed to get concession just for not taking hostage. Mark CONNELL blinking. Senate Republicans have lost either fights to Biden as well, including infrastructure where Mark CONNELL, after losing 100 positions, voted with the Biden and some aspect to COVID relief. So one of the things we have to do in life, and certainly in objective news, reporting in the both negatives aside, and if they from the bad way, probably put them far to the side and just follow, and we actually happen in your real time. Yeah, and thank you so much for watching my video, and I hope to see you in the next video.